fly to Japan. Really exciting, kind of scary.
It's really early.
Very early. And I'm with my friends. It is extremely early. We got up at 2:45 and we had to catch our shuttle at 3:40 to get to the airport by 4, and then we waited in the Delta check-in line for, what, 50 minutes? So TSA was actually the shortest part of this trip so far. I recently graduated from the University of Missouri, and I took a couple of Japanese classes, and my professor had a study abroad opportunity that he knew about, and he told several of us, and 6 of us signed up and are going to Japan for 2 months to study with the Tondo Bunraku puppet troupe. So we're going to spend a couple of days in Tokyo, and then we're going to Kyoto, and then we will be spending the bulk of our trip in Nagahama training and sightseeing, and then we're headed to Ida for the Bunraku Puppet Festival for a week, and then we're back to Tokyo for like a couple of hours before we catch our flight and come back to Missouri. So we're super excited, kind of absolutely terrified about the fact that we barely speak Japanese, even though we've been studying it for a year now. Our professor is definitely the type who he wants to teach us grammar first, and so he didn't really let us practice speaking. So I think really the only time we ever actually spoke Japanese was for our 2 oral exams at the end of our 2 semesters of Japanese. And that went okay, like we got good grades, but it's still not having a conversation in country. So I guess we'll see you in Detroit. Bye!
On the plane to Detroit.
Yep. So we are on the plane now, and Allegra's in front of me, and Angel is across the way, and Christy is the redhead right in front of her waving. So so we're on the moving sidewalk. It's fun. Everyone thinks we're rude because we're just standing and they like walking. But we like this. It's an odd lighted music tunnel.
I'm not sure what's going on. To Concourse A to catch our connecting flight, which doesn't leave for another 3 hours anyway. Made it to Detroit safely. The plane was kind of small, but it was a short trip, so it wasn't a big deal. The guy I sat next to, I didn't want to knock into him while I was sleeping, so I slept with my arms crossed, which made my hand fall asleep.
and as soon as we were landing, I realized that there was an armrest that was supposed to go down between us that I didn't put down. This airport is pretty cool though. It has a light tunnel and I guess you would call it a tram. And there are trees and birds. There are birds inside the airport. That's pretty cool. So we have about 3 hours before our connecting flight. We're all really hungry. We want to go to McDonald's, but we have to wait because they're still only serving breakfast and none of us want to do breakfast. So yeah, we're just hanging out. So I've flown a lot, but I've never flown on a plane this big. It's 2 complete levels and it's just really huge. So, but it'll get us to Tokyo. See you on the other side of the ocean. Hey guys, you guys, where are we going?
Japan.
We're going to Japan! So as I was saying, there are 4 of us going to Tokyo. Allegra, me, Angel, and Christy. And Allegra and I are on one side of the plane. And Christy and Angel are all the way on the other.
On the same row.
On the same row. We're finally checked in at the hostel. It's kind of late. It's been a long day. We had an 11-hour flight. We all maybe got an hour and a half to 2 hours of sleep on the plane. They fed us. We got dinner, snack, lunch, and breakfast, which was really nice. We didn't get our first glimpse of Japan until about 10 minutes before we landed, so that was kind of interesting. Everything looks the same from that high up though. We were about 30,000 feet in the air, and so it was hard to tell the difference. It was a special moment, I guess. When we got to the airport, immigration had a really long line, but actually getting through immigration took maybe 5 minutes each. Getting through customs was super easy. They didn't even look in our bags. They just accepted our forms and asked us where we were from. The longest bit was we forwarded our checked baggage to where we're going to be studying abroad, the town Nagahama, where we're going to be spending 2 months, which is the bulk of our trip. And they had some problem with the address. They didn't like that we didn't have the phone number, and so that took a bit of work. But it all worked out in the end, and we sent on our baggage to the puppet theater. And then we hopped on the train. We took the train from Narita to Nippori Station, and then we had to switch lines. And we jumped on the train, and we were super excited. And then it hit rush hour, and we were packed in. There were so many people. We were packed in like sardines. Everyone was super close. And about 6 stops down, we realized that we were going the wrong way. So we had to go all the way back to Nippori Station, and then 6 stops in the other direction before we finally got to the station where we needed to get off for our hostel. And by this time, we were all exhausted and hot and hungry. We hadn't eaten in 6 hours. And finding the hostel was interesting because the directions basically just included look for the post office and the bathhouse, but they didn't say how far down the road they were, and they were a far way down the road. But we got here safe. Angel pulled up the directions on their phone, and we got here quickly. Afterwards, Angel, Allie, and I went to the Lawson's convenience store, Konbini, and we got food, and Christy stayed and took a shower, and then we all ate, and we showered, and now we're exhausted, and we're going to bed. So I'm signing off day 1, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!